But he's doing like
In part
noble
1 of
work.
this video series, I showed how firm themselves 11 Hub. He's not only responsible for handing out the bonuses, but also making sure that the scams operate as intended. According to Amit's LinkedIn profile, and I suspect this page will be removed soon, he seems to have been working in the company since 2015.
Thanks to Resub Insomnia.
But the person who sits at the top of the chain is also called Amit. On the left here is Amit Chauhan. He is the CEO of Fairmont Travels and he's the ex-director of Adrit Technologies.
Nice.
It's not clear why he's no longer that director, but he was until fairly recently. Indeed, Adrit Technologies still have Amit's email address as the contact email for the company.
Thanks to Bitsfiend.
Once this video is released, undoubtedly Amit will try to distance himself from this company. But the scammers were taking payments, and I traced the PayPal payments directly to Amit. This is a screenshot from their PayPal page. It clearly shows that Amit Chauhan is the Chief Financial Officer of Adrit Tech, and his business was known by several aliases. Here you can see 24/7 Fix.
Jim's got him.
When the supervisors would log into PayPal, it was clear that their victims' details were also there. They would send invoices via PayPal, so I could
that guy
trace
got
all
fucked
of the
up there.
payments from the victims directly to Amit.
There's the Prime Paper Tiger
And
infused.
the PayPal account showed that thousands of dollars were being transferred from victims in the USA, UK and...
Holy shit, this is all in a single day. All of that whole page was one day. Damn, Amit. Man was fucking banking. How is there this many, like, geriatric octogenarians that fall for this shit? That's crazy.
Australia. And don't forget that this was just one of 5 different payment gateways being used by this company. When the payments came off hold,
He's a
they were
prime bed,
transferred
Resub
to an
Jackson
Indian
and
bank
Revenge.
account. But Amit was very careful never to set foot in the scamming offices themselves. Instead, he would meet with the floor supervisors on occasions in his office in the main building. And it was in those offices that Amit masterminded some of the scams that his company would run. Here in Amit's office, he would invite some of his business colleagues. The big guy on the bottom left is called Anuj, and the other guy on the right is called Amar. Between the 3 of them, they run a company called Z-Core Solutions, and here they're discussing some of the next scams that they're about to undertake. Fortunately for us, the only part of the building where the CCTV has audio are his offices, so we're able to pick up on his conversations.
It's like he installed the cameras in order to catch himself.
With the translation.
Classic
I've
Amit.
only highlighted the parts which are in English, so that's easier to understand. The group
Thanks to
discuss
Tier
how
1
many
Ash.
agents they'll need, how many days they'll work, what sort of commission they'll get, and ultimately what sort of scams they're about to operate.
Thanks to the
Till
Resub
this
Frame.
point, they'd mostly been running pop-up scams, but here the suggestion is to run the refund scam and pretend to be Amazon.
So the lesser that people know of this, it will become our job easier.
And not only was the work to be kept a secret, here they're discussing how they do the Amazon scam.
You will just connect it to from the business department, you will just connect it to the technician.
The
Oh,
Amazon
thank you to 10
scam
gift subs,
is becoming
Komodo.
more and more common.
Thank you,
They
Komodo.
will
Appreciate
send
it.
a lot of bulk emails and pretend to be a billing department of Amazon. The order will contain the victim's name, but of course it's all fake. They just want the phone call. When an agent receives this phone call, they will try and persuade the victim that they've got a security or hacker problem. And the way to get around this problem is to go and buy a card. They will describe this as a security card, but in fact the victim would be buying a
Thanks to
gift
Prime.
card, the currency
Cleanup
of
crew.
scammers. If you're a patron of mine, you can hear some recent examples of some of the audio that I've captured. where
Yeah, he's
Fairmont
good,
tried
Foxy.
to Scam. And to the outside world, Amit appears like a very successful entrepreneur. Last year, he visited Germany and Amsterdam, Singapore, New York,
Oh.
Las Vegas,
Oh.
Bhutan, Chandigarh, Thailand, and most recently, Sri Lanka.
And then
the
even more
Fairmont
recently,
offices, he has
jail.
profound quotes from the likes of Steve Jobs. And this is his birthday cake, which features parts of Amit's life. On the left here is his black Porsche. He has a real one. On the right are some iPads and other Apple devices. In the middle, a laptop. and on the right
Yeah, I
hand
know what
side,
that is, Jimmy.
lots
I'm
of
familiar.
dollars. And to the
And
right
thank you
of
to
all
10
of
gift
this,
subs, Dev.
this is
Thank you,
main
Dev.
Fairmart
Appreciate the
building.
generosity.
No mention of the secret one out the back. But all the time, his company are scamming older or vulnerable people.
I have MS, and I'm a nervous wreck, and I can't understand a lot. So I'm listening
Don't worry,
real close.
don't be getting nervous, miss, okay? Right now you're in safe hands, okay? That is the reason you're telling me that you won't live for the next year as well, right?
Probably not.
No, don't tell me that, miss.
I'm a diabetic, and I'm legally blind.
Okay.
And I'm pretty.
What the fuck?
Some of the phone calls that I listened into are absolutely heartbreaking, and that was just one of them. I have tried to report Fairmart Travels and Amit Chauhan via the National Cybercrime Portal for India, but this portal just doesn't work. You're supposed to receive a one-time PIN to a mobile number, but it looks as if that part is broken, so I can't even report the crime this way. Instead, and only because I know exactly where the building is and therefore which police service and which district is involved, I reported the crime to the Haryana police. And initially, when I submitted the report, absolutely nothing happened. I didn't even get an acknowledgement email. This was pretty much expected.
Okay.
I've never really had any response from any police service in India. So instead, I did something new.
Thanks to resub,
I
Jesse,
reached out
Underestimated,
to a
and
documentary
Dev.
crew in the UK
And
called
Fruniel.
Panorama, and I shared my material with them. They have
Thanks
much
to resub,
larger
Lil Rock.
budgets than me, and they even had the ability to travel to India to confront the owners, and that's exactly what they did. There's a link in the top right hand corner to that Panorama documentary, and I'll pick up in part 4.
Really
what
smart
happened
idea.
whenever those videos and the documentary went live. But to reuse Amit's favourite quote, this operation can only work if it's run by a team of people, and one of the most important people in that team is Sahil Garg. He is the accountant for this company. And I witnessed the operations managers making their daily reports on how much money they'd scammed the previous day directly.
Alright,
to
Satan. Hope you had a
Sahil.
good day.
So I can now put together a picture of the key players in this scam. Top of the tree is Amit Chauhan, and he is the director of Fairmart Travels and the ex-director of Adrit Technologies. The people that he plans the scams with are called Anuj and Amar, and between the three of them they own 2 companies, Zcore Solutions and CapNerds Venture. Anuj and Amar independently have a different travel company called Travel Matrix and a marketing division called A Square Marketing. They are also co-owners of a nightclub in Delhi.
Jim Browning's like a real-world version of
Amar
L from Death
especially
Note.
posts lots of this footage inside the nightclub on his Facebook page.
Woo! Let's go!
You have to wonder where all the money came from to buy a nightclub like this.
Wishing a very happy wedding, Mr. Fungus out here.
And so back to the key players. One of the most important people here we've covered is Sahil Garg, and he is the accountant for all of Amit's businesses, including Fairmart and Adrit Technologies. The co-director of Fairmart is Asif Bhatt. It's unclear whether he has anything to do with the scams, so I've left his face blurred. The 2 people beside him in this diagram are Asif Chowdhury and Amit Sindhu, both operations managers for Adrit Technologies. And finally, at the top of the diagram is another director of one of the companies that Amit owns. Amit's wife Sonia is co-director of CapNerds Payment Solutions. It's unclear what this payment solutions business does, but there is a similarly named CapNerds Venture, which is owned by Amar, Anuj and Amit. Given their track record, it's hard not to believe this is associated with scams. But what about Amit's main business, Fairmart.com? Is it legitimate? Well, in 2019, they had a plainly fake address. They claimed to be at an address in Delaware, but when looked at on Google Maps, it was plainly a residential area and not an office location. But since the TV crew became more interested in Fairmart, they've now rented a different office address. this time in Denver, Colorado. I've been told that although they rent this address, they don't seem to meet there very often. But on Trustpilot, Fairmart.com seems to be doing pretty well. 80% of the reviews look like they're excellent, and only a small proportion seem to be poor or bad. But when you look carefully at these reviews, there does seem to be a bit of a pattern. Any of the good or excellent reviews seem to name every agent by name, and the good reviewers only seem to have ever reviewed just one company, Fairmart.com.
No, they were just so passionate.
Don't mention agents by name. The original promised fare is increased, and it seems almost impossible to get your money back. So although I can't definitively prove this, I believe that Fairmart.com are internally writing their own good reviews, and any poor ones are legitimate. But there's one thing that I am sure about, and that's that they pretend to be the reservations for Delta Airlines. They've probably seeded their phone number to make it look as if they are the front desk for Delta. The following conversation was recorded in December 2019 and shows just how deceptive Fairmart will be.
Thank you for calling reservations. How may I help you today?
Let's do some hug.
My name is Randy. I'm holding a Delta Sky Miles credit card, and I have a challenge here. I wanted to use points to travel. I'm going for my residency for my doctorate, and I'm coming up short here on points.
I'm surprised he's not playing Pac-Man.
I was told by someone that
He's actually listening.
For those, Delta Sky Miles card holders, that you all might be able to assist me with some points to try and book this flight. So I was kind of...
Sure, definitely. So what I understood here is you would like to book a flight using your points, right?
That's correct, yeah.
Definitely, sir. I can assist on that. So, okay, how many points do you have, sir?
That's a good question.
Is it tier 1 first form Frieza?
So, to book this flight...
And the resub sniper.
That is fine, sir. I would love to check that for you. Can I have your Delta Sky Miles number?
Up until this point, this Fairmart agent hasn't given any indication that he isn't Delta, and he has no access to any systems which will allow him to look up the Delta Sky Miles details. So what does he do?
Okay, 921.
And can I have the password?
And can I have the password? He's breaking the number one rule of any customer interactions. No legitimate person will ever ask for your password.
Not true.
This is a sure sign that it's a scam.
People on RuneScape do.
Delta Airways would never ask their customers for their password. This victim is slightly taken aback by someone asking for his password.
Do they normally give out the password?
Yeah, of course. Without a password, you cannot log in.
Okay, hold on one second.
Oh my god. How? He's not even like an old man.
This audio, but suffice to
He's
say,
going for his
this agent
doctorate.
Wasn't able to log in despite having the right password, and there may have been security checks which triggered a blocked login. So even if Fairmart do call themselves a legitimate travel company, some of their practices are at best questionable. The reviews are certainly fake, and these practices of asking people for their passwords is probably illegal. I have passed on this information to the Delta Sky Miles team, and hopefully they are able to take action against Fairmart.com. So we're going to leave part 3 with Luke here on the right, chalking up just how much money he's made on this shift. When he writes it up on the board, it should translate into a nice bonus for him. He, together with about 30 other scammers, have managed to scam upwards of $3 million from people all over the UK, US and Australia. He is employed by Android Technologies, an offshoot of Fairmart.com, and they use common infrastructure. They'll typically use Ringba.com and ETITEL for their phone numbers, again shared with their main business,
Next to the resub is Aragon.
And once they have scammed people, they will follow up on these scams with other ones. They will claim that there are yet more hackers or problems on people's PCs in order to get yet more money out of their victims. They will pretend to be other companies like Amazon or Delta Airlines in order to extract as much money as possible. So as Lalit goes into the side office to recollect his mobile phone, his company, together with hundreds of others in the Kolkata and Delhi districts, will be undertaking the same sort of scams day in, day out. And it's only when the police in India get serious about
Thanks,
this
Prime
sort
Minister
of crime
Gunru.
will something be done about it. The portal for cybercrime reporting needs to be fixed, and any complaints need to be followed up on. I can provide lots of intelligence for other similar scam call centres. But until this action happens, people here
I
like
cannot
Luke, or
believe that
Lalit,
shit.
as he's really called, will be free to do these scams as often as he likes. And not only will he make money, but his
Thanks for
boss,
2 gift subs, Kit
Amit,
Kat.
will make money. So as we watch him leave the scam call centre, let's hope that some good at least comes from this set of videos. I certainly intend to expose these scammers for what they do, and if you wish to support me, there's a link to my Patreon channel below. This
Alright,
is
we're on to
never
part
compulsory.
4.
I'll always make these videos free, but any support you can give me is most welcome.
Seems like
The
such a
very
good
last
guy.
part of this video
Alright,